So dividend paid with cash. That's the last item. Right? Dividend paid. Dividend paid. So by doing that, we are completing cash flow statement. Dividend paid. Dividend paid. I didn't use word dividend distribution, dividend withdrawal, all the same word. So in terms of cash flow for financing area, did we use or generate? We used. Right? So now you're adding 3 sections, beginning cash, ending cash. Does it fit? Does it fit? Everything's a fit? Right? We talked about that. We originally start cash flow statement by putting beginning cash, ending cash. Change in cash was 1,000. Does it come out to 1,000? If it's 1,000, you must be correct. Just a few minutes. So I'll just show you now indirect method. Indirect method. The good news is investing activity, financing activity identical. Did you just notice that? Identical. Everything's the same, right? No difference. I made another. You flip my handout. That's the indirect method, right? So you can pretty much copy investing activity, financing activity. Copy identical. The only section different is operating activity. So using direct method, how did we start? If we're using direct method, we started with cash received, cash paid, all that cash received from customer, cash paid vendors. If it's indirect method, we are starting with net income. Net income. So you see the 15,000 indirect method? Is that all right? Are you doing that? 15,000. Put that down, 15,000. Where is 15,000 coming from? Income statement, bottom line. Okay, where is it? Right there. Income statement, bottom line. So where are you heading to now? From income statement, bottom line, net income figure, where are you heading to? Where's the destination? Please remind yourself.
Yeah.
I'm talking about only operating activity. So please do not look at all these items. So the starting point, what's the ending point? What's the ending point? Where you want to go? Net cash inflow, outflow. This can be either or, right? This happens to be, example happens to be inflow, but it can be outflow too. Please do not assume that. Net cash from operating activity, right? So bottom line is, starting point is net income. Is net income or cash? Yes and no? No, right? But we have to reconcile the net income figure 15 to cash figure. Cash figure. How do you do that? Right here. Right off the bat. By looking at this line item, something you can tell me right away. Please pay attention to this one. What's this one? Depreciation expense. Chapter 4 of Accounting 1A. Chapter 4 of Accounting 1A. We introduced to you depreciation. But depreciation expense is a one-of-kind expense, I told you. Very unique. I told you it's a ghost expense. Depreciation expense are very different from other type of expense, such as salaries expense, utility expense. How does that differ? Thank you. Non-cash expense. But depreciation expense 10,000, is that part of this number 15,000? So if we didn't have $10,000 as a depreciation expense, what would be the number now? 25,000. Did I lose anybody? Are you okay? Audrey? All right. If we didn't have this, I'll say one more time because it's important. If we didn't have this 10,000, mathematically this number, net income would have been? Jessica? If we didn't have this $10,000, this net income would have been? I'll just ask you to repeat what we said. 25,000, right? Mathematically. So what should we do when you're starting with the net income? When you're starting the cash flow statement with the net income, what should we do in terms of cash depreciation expense? I'm not asking a hard question. I just explained that to you.
Add depreciation.
Add back. Why? Where you heading to? Where you started? Just repeating several times. One of the times it will stick to your brain, or you pay attention. There are people still thinking other things outside the classroom. But anyway, so net income, 15,000 include what? The figure including depreciation expense. Depreciation expense is unique expense. What unique? Non-cash expense. Where you want to go? Cash. So don't look at this or don't memorize this. Memorization, you know, it will break down, right? Logically, mathematically, I'm talking about simple math. Logically, you have to add back. No? Hello? Anybody out there? Add back. Add back.
Can I do that on the test?
So does amortization. Do you remember bond discount amortization? Is the cash.
No, sir.
What was the discount on bonds payable represent? Extra expense. Extra expense.